Good morning, everyone. My name is Nadia Galio, and I am your first presenter in Group 1. Before we start with the first topic, let me introduce to you our members. Starting off with Raylene Tagsip, Mark Ellen Galinea, Jillian Sumayang, Althea Ruby, Shaidi Handokele, Shanice Chavez, Regine Santinor, Warlito Sueco, and John Rex Basilan. Our presentation focuses on human flourishing in science and technology. We will explore how advancements in science and technology have shaped human civilization and the ethical considerations surrounding their impact on our lives. Our first topic is technology as a mode of revealing. In his seminal work, Question and Technology, Martin Heidegger urges us to question technology and see beyond people's common understanding of it. According to ancient doctrine, the essence of a thing is considered to be what the thing is. We ask the question concerning technology when we ask what it is. Everyone knows the two statements that answer our question are says technology is a means to an end. The other says technology is a human activity. The two definitions of technology belong together. For the posit ends and procedure, and utilize the means to them is a human activity. The manufacture and utilization of equipment, tools, and machines, the manufactured and used things themselves, and the needs and ends that they served all belong to what technology is. The whole complex of this contrivance is technology. Technology itself is a contrivance, in Latin, an instrumentum. The current conception of technology, according to which is it means and a human activity, can therefore be called an instrumental and anthropological definition of technology. This definition is correct, but not necessarily true. The true entails so much more meaning and significance. Heidegger, however, asserted that the true can be pursued through the correct. In other words, the experience and understanding of what is correct lead us to what is true. Heidegger urged people to envision technology as a mode of revealing, as it shows so much more about the human person and the world. Technology is a way of bringing forth a making of something. By considering technology as a mode of revealing, then truth is brought forth. For instance, the truth that the earth is weeping could be revealed by the information data taken by modern devices. Whatever truth is uncovered, it will be something more meaningful and significant than the superficial or practical use of technology. Heidegger also put forward the ancient Greek concepts of aletheia, poesis, and techne. Aletheia means unhiddenness or disclosure. Poesis is defined as bringing forth. For Aristotle, it means making or predicting something for a purpose. It is sometimes used to refer to poetry and composition. Finally, techne, or the root word for technology, means skill, art, or craft. This means of bringing forth something. Thus, in Heidegger's work, technology is a poesis that discloses or reveals the truth. On the other hand, to think of technology as a poetry takes a different mindset, more reflective and sensitive way of looking at the world. This perspective is not easy to take, especially in this era, when instant knowledge is demanded and split-second updates are the norm, and when the pursuit of fame and fortune is unceasingly bannered on social media. There is so much noise in the world that would take a disciplined stepping back to see what Heidegger meant and to appreciate how technology could actually be poetry that brings forth truth. German philosopher Martin Heidegger says meditative thinking. Science and technology, despite its methodical and technical nature, gives meaning to the life of a person making his or her way in the world.
Human flourishing is defined
To
as
be
an
able to
effort to
appreciate
achieve
the fruits
self
of science and
actualization and
technology, they
fulfillment
must
within the
be
context
examined
of a
not
larger
only for
community
their
of
function and
individuals, each
instrumentality,
with the
but
right to
also for
pursue
their
his
greater
or her
impact
own
on
such
humanity as
efforts.
wholes are all tools
Flourishing
that
in
makes
human,
human
as
lives
stated by
easier.
Aristotle,
Medical
is as
research
a result
employs the
of
best
different components
scientific and
such as
technological
phronesis,
principles to come up with
friendship,
cures for disease
wealth,
and
and
ways to
power.
prevent illnesses to ensure a good
Phronesis
quality of
is
life.
a common
Most
topic
of
of
technologies
Greek
developed
philosophy
is
because
based on
of
the
its
people's
practical
major
character.
needs.
Wisdom or intelligence, often translated as practical wisdom, sometimes prudence from Latin word prudential. Friendship is a state of being friends as a relationship between two persons. Wealth, state of being rich and material prosperity. Power, ability to do something or act in a particular way. Ability to influence others. As times change, elements that comprise human flourishing change, which are subject to the dynamic social history as written by human. People found means to live more comfortably, explore more places, develop more products and more money, and then repeating the process in full circle. Our concept of human flourishing today proves to be different from what Aristotle originally perceived then. Humans of today are expected to become a man of the world. Eudaimonia, ay, gikagawang pa ni si- Eudaimonia, literally good-spirited, is a term coined by renowned Greek philosopher Aristotle to describe the pinnacle of happiness that is attainable by humans. This has often been translated into human flourishing in literature, arguably likening humans to flowers achieving their full bloom. As discussed in the Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle's human flourishing arises as a result of different components such as phronesis, friendship, wealth, and power. In the ancient Greek society, they believed that acquiring these qualities will surely bring the seeker's happiness, which is effect allows them to partake in the greater notion of what we call good. The scientific method is introduced in the earlier part of discussion. Even though the number of steps varies, it presents a general idea of how to do science. Number one, observe and determine if there are unexplained occurrences folding. 2. Determine the problem and identify factors involved. 3. Through past knowledge of similar instance, formulate hypotheses that could explain the said phenomenon. Ideally, the goal is to reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternative hypothesis for the study to count as significant. 4. Conduct experiment by setting up dependent and independent variables and trying to see how independent one affect dependent ones. 5. Gather and analyze results throughout and upon culmination of the experiment. Examine if the data gathered are significant results. And the last, number 6, formulate conclusion and prove recommendation in case others would want to broaden the study.
Verification theory. The earliest criterion that distinguishes philosophy and science is verification theory. The idea proposes that a discipline is science if it can be confirmed or interpreted in the event of an alternative hypothesis being accepted. In that regard, said theory gives premium to empiricism and only takes into account those results which are measurable, experiments which are repeatable. A classic example is astrology, whose followers are able to employ this verification method in ascertaining its reliability. The idea is that since one already has some sort of expectations on what to find, They will interpret events in line with said activities. American philosopher Thomas Kuhn warned us against bridging the gap between a theory by attempting to interpret the former according to our biases. That is, whether or not we subscribe to the theory below is a short story illustrating this point. Falsification theory. Perhaps the current prevalent methodology in science, falsification theory asserts that as long as an ideology is not proven to be false and can be best explain a phenomenon over alternative theories, we should accept the said ideology. Due to its hospitable character, the shift to this theory allowed emergence of theories otherwise rejected by verification theory. It does not promote ultimate adoption of one theory, but instead encourage research in order to determine which among theories can stand the test of falsification. The strongest one is that which is able to remain upheld amidst various tests, while being able to make particularly risky predictions about the world. Karl Popper is the known proponent of this view. Science as a social endeavor. Due to inclusiveness of the methodologies previously cited, a new school of thought on the proper demarcation criterion of science emerged. Several philosophers such as Paul Fagard, Emery Lakatos, Helen Longino, David Bloor, and Richard Rorty, among others, present an alternative demarcation that explores the social dimensions of science and effectively technology. Science used to belong solely to gown-wearing, bespectacled scientists at laboratories. The new view perpetuates a dimension which generally benefits the society. For instance, far-off places in South America where many of the tribes remain uncontacted do not regard Western science as their science. Whatever their science is, it can be ascertained that it is no way inferior to that globalized people's science. Thus, it presents an alternative notion that goes beyond the boundaries or cold, hard facts of science and instead projects it in a different light, such as manifestation of shared experience foregoing solidarity over communities.
Science and result. For the most part, people who do not understand science are won over when the discipline is able to produce results. Similar to when Jesus performed miracles and garnered followers, people are sold over the capacity of science to do stuff they cannot fully comprehend. In these particular arguments, however, science is not the only discipline which is able to produce results. Religion, luck, and human randomness are some of its contemporaries in the field. For some communities without access to science, they can run to divination and superstition and still get the same result. Science is not entirely foolproof, such that it is not correct 100% of the time. Weather reports, for one, illustrate feasibility and limitation of their scope, as well as their inability to predict disasters. The best that can be done during an upcoming disaster is to reinforce materials to be more calamity-proof and restore the area upon impact. It can be then concluded that science does not monopolize the claim for definite results. Science as education. Aforementioned discussion notes that there is no such thing as singular scientific method, offering instead a variety of procedures that scientists can experiment with to get results and call them science. Discoveries in physics, specifically in quantum mechanics, appeared to have debunked the idea of objectivity in reality, subscribing instead to alternative idea called intersubjectivity. With objectivity phone, it has lost its number one credence. Nevertheless, There still exists as a repressing concept that comes about as a result of unjustified irreverence of science. Our preference of science inclines students over those which are less adept.
Technology is a way of bringing forth a making of something. By considering technology as a mode of revealing, then truth is brought forth. For instance, the truth that the earth is sweeping could be revealed by the information data taken by modern devices. Whatever truth is uncovered, it will be something more meaningful and significant than the superficial or practical use of technology. Heidegger also put forward the ancient Greek concept of aletheia, poiesis, and techne. Aletheia means unhiddeness or disclosure. Poiesis is defined as bringing forth. For Aristotle, it means making or predicting something for a purpose. It is sometimes used to refer to poetry and composition. Finally, techne, the root word of technology, means skill, art, or craft. It is a means of bringing forth something. Thus, in Heidegger's work, technology is poiesis that discloses or reveals the truth.
Technology as poiesis applicable to modern technology like age of switches, standing reserve, and stock peeling for its own sake. The revealing that rules in modern technology is a challenging, which puts to nature the unreasonable demand that it supply energy which can be extracted and stored as such. Modern technology challenge nature and demand or resources that are most of the time forcibly extracted from human consumption and storage. It brings out a setting upon of the land. Mining is an example of modern technology that challenge forth and brings about the setting upon of land. It extracts mineral from the earth and forcefully assigns the land as a mean to fulfill the never-ending demand of people. With modern technology, revealing never come to as an end. The revealing always happen on our own terms as everything is on demand. Information at our fingertips, food harvested even out of season, gravity defied to fly off to space, such as the capacity of the human person. We no longer need to work for the rhythms of nature because we have learned to control it. We ordered nature and extract, process, make ready for consumption, and store what we have forced it to reveal. Heidegger described modern technology as the age of switches, standing reserve, and stack peeling for its own sake. This observation is manifested in the mechanization and digitization of many aspects of our life, from agriculture to communications and transportation, among many others. What kind of unconcealment it is? Them that is particular to that which result from this setting upon those challenges. Everywhere everything is ordered to stand by, to be immediately on hand, and then to stand there just so that it may be on call for further ordering. Whatever ordered about on this way has its own standing reserve. Heidegger, 1977.
In framing, way of revealing in modern technology, the way of revealing in modern technology is an inframing. This inframing the challenges forth and sets upon nature is a way of looking at reality. In simpler terms, it is as if nature is put in box or in frame so that it can be better understood and controlled according to people's desire. Poses concealed in framing as nature is viewed as an orderable or calculable system of information. In looking at the world, Heidegger distinguished between calculable thinking and meditative thinking. In calculative thinking, as mentioned earlier, one orders and put a system to nature, so it can be understood better and controlled. In meditative thinking, one let nature reveal itself to him or her without forcing it. The human person has a faculty or both and would do well to use them in synergy. However, people also want to control and are afraid of unpredictability, so calculative thinking is more often used. And framing is done because people want security, even if ordering that happens in framing is a violent, and even if the earth is made as a big gasoline station from which we extract, stockpile, and put it in standing reserve ready to be used as we.
Art is a way of enframing, is a thought-provoking idea that echoes the work of philosopher Martin Heidegger. Heidegger argued that technology enframes nature, meaning it reveals and conceals aspects of the world based on technological lens we use to view it. Similarly, art can be seen as a form of enframing. It frames reality in a specific way, highlighting certain aspects while obscuring others. Number 1. Reveal the unseen. Art can reveal hidden truths, emotions, or perspectives that we might otherwise miss. Number 2, offer new interpretations. Art can offer fresh ways of understanding the world by presenting familiar objects or ideas in a new light. Number 3, create a sense of order. Art can impose structure and meaning on a chaotic or complex reality, helping us make sense of our experiences. Number 4, limit our perception. Just as technology inframes nature, art can also limit our perception by focusing our attention in specific aspects of reality while excluding others. Just imagine about a portrait. It might reveal the character of the subjects through their expression, but it also conceals their voice, thoughts, and experiences beyond the moment captured. Ultimately, the idea that art is a way of enframing reminds us that all representations are partial. Art, while offering valuable insights, also shapes our understanding of the world in specific, often subjective ways.